So is this thing on?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, we are on then.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I did not know that. Okay, well, it's good of you to drop in, folks. So, you're back here for some more. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like our conversations, our topics. If you like us as, as your, daily company, let us know right down below. This wonderful gentleman who we've visited his world, on a monthly basis for our PSI events or our gatherings, is
Dr. Marc.
And I am Elmer, and we are Marc and Elmer's PSI. It says you're here to see what we've been reading, what we've been playing, what we've been hearing, what we've been listening to, and you've come to the right place. Before we start, what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Boy, do you have any ideas?
Been running the gamut lately.
I'm running. Yeah, I know. What was the last one? It was like Sound Pictures or
You
a mime.
A mime.
I was a mime.
And Mr. Wagner had gas.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. He must have been trying to stifle a laugh.
No,
or
infamously
something.
historic.
Oh yeah, he was.
Terrible.
Really?
His
Boy.
gut is really messed up.
Oh, okay. Well,
So there's some historical fact about that.
okay.
I
Yeah.
thought, just so that you knew the sound was actually turned off, I thought we should have
Okay.
something. Come on.
All right. Okay. I have one.
It wasn't coming on the word.
Oh, I
It's
know.
just,
I know. I understand.
okay.
Even if it was,
Just a little background that
it's good. Okay, so, all right. Okay, I'm just winging this, folks. Okay.
No,
so
he
this
prepares this stuff. Practices for hours.
No, this is definitely not one of those. In the style of film noir. We met for the first time. She stood there, glistening, but you can tell there was quite the body count, discerning how unsmiling she was. So, I offered her the only dose I can think of to help brighten her future. Corey, the piano polish, high gloss, the only solution to how shall we call it? A vexing conundrum.
Wow.
Get yours now.
The boy is so immensely talented. It's just
No.
amazing.
If that doesn't work, offer her this drink.
There you go.
It's lemon oil. Yeah. What am I doing with it both? Well, you never know what kind of piano you're going to be dealing with when you go to do your gigs. So there it
Be a
is.
strong one, huh?
Yeah. So
Seriously, folks, don't drink it.
yeah, don't drink it. I mean, it's for the piano. Okay. I mean, otherwise, yeah, it says. Well, yeah, basically it's for furniture. It says also for furniture.
Yeah.
So I guess I would only assume that it's for like antiques that don't have the glossy finish or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still doing my gigs over at the Von Maur department store. I'm still teaching piano lessons. Not as often as I would like, but it's still there. Let's see, still practicing at the piano. I'm still working on the Foray Ballade.
Wow.
You have to be really creative with the fingering. It's quite the task. Anyways, so
I got a couple of things.
Oh, you got a few
When we do
things?
the thrift, so whatever you want to do.
oh, okay, so cool. All right. Well, let's see. We had Kathy and I had decided to take a break for a while to leave, our usual environment, and we went off together to Honey Run. It's up north near, I think, what would you call the Coshocton area, I guess, where all the Amish are.
Oh yeah, up there.
Yeah, so we went to the Honey Run Inn. We stayed there for a night, and we visited the places, and it was nice to see all the, old towns that, what America used to be, a lot of it, and so in some places, time never, modern time doesn't really touch very much. It visits, makes a visit, peeps its little head, and says, and drives off.
Yeah.
So in those travels, Kathy and I, well, actually it's more Kathy, she had her spidey senses were tingling for all those thrift stores, and sure enough, they were all there. And so we did visit some of these thrift stores, and you'll be surprised what you'll find in some of these places.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, for all of you who have been with us up to now, and all of our newest viewers, I want to welcome one of our favorite pastime segments of the show, High Plains Thrifter.
Oh, we get to do it.
Yes,
hey guys,
you do.
we're gonna wear hats.
Wear your hats.
I love a hat.
Are you ready for this? Now, you see me bring composer cards before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a while back. It was one of our, I don't know, what was it? Episode 5 or 6. We were in our first
I
year.
bought a set of those on eBay one time from England.
From England.
Yes, an old set of composer cards. It's like a deck of cards.
Okay.
But they got composers' faces and stuff.
Oh. Well, get ready for another set.
Uh-huh.
This is an oldie. I don't think you'll find these. This is an actual, they are playing cards with composers, but it's also a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had instructions on how to play the game
Oh,
and everything. So,
isn't that cool?
yeah.
That's back when people were cultivated.
Yeah, isn't it? They were all interested. My goodness, let me show it to you. This is an antique, folks. Look at this. This is really old, I think. I mean, there's, it says here, Composer's Card Game, one in a series of educational card games for the entire family. But look at that, no barcodes, nothing.
Oh.
Oh, here it is. Copyright 1990.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, fairly.
As things go.
Copyright 1990, U.S. Game Systems, Inc. There it is. Take a look at it. So, I did open them, read the instructions on how to play the game, and basically it's go fish. Do you have any Beethovens?
Yeah. Yeah,
Do you have any Chopins? Do you have any Mozarts?
Right.
Go fish.
Yeah. That's cool.
So there it is.
Can I just get one that wouldn't
Oh, coasters?
toast you?
Gotcha.
This one keeps sticking to the bottom.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so now,
Oh, that's cute.
not only did we find that, I think some of you musicians who have children will find this one amusing as well, especially those budding pianists.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Check it out.
I bet it's a series, I bet.
Yeah, I'm thinking it may very well be a series. This one, yeah, this is kind of fairly old. This one's around the same decade, 1993. Take a good look at it. 1993. It's a children's book about Chopin. So, yeah, it reads very quickly. It's only, I think it'll only take you maybe 10, 15 minutes to get through the whole thing while your kids admire the pictures and you read through it, at a moderate pace. Now, just to give you a fair warning, there's one or two references to snuff and alcohol in this children's book. Okay, so, but I think there's one for Brahms and Bach and Mozart. Pretty sure.
Oh, this is nice.
Isn't it?
Nice color pictures.
Yes. Now, who would you say was Chopin's piano teacher?
I don't remember his name, but
I always thought it was.
he only had one, primarily.
Well, I thought it was Joseph Elsner, but this one cites somebody else.
Really?
It's Vinny or ZW.
Is it Spinny?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
But Joseph Elsner is the one who's recognized as having been a teacher, and
Yes.
must have been a hell of a teacher.
Yeah.
Because, it's interesting. I mean, Chopin, the first concerto was not the first concerto.
Right.
It was the F minor, which is number 2.
Yeah.
That's the concerto that he left Poland with and traveled through Warsaw and caused such a big ruckus.
Yeah.
I mean, good one.
Yeah.
Really, people got all excited about him and everything.
Yeah.
And then we were at the first set of etudes shortly after he was in Paris.
Dedicated to Franz Liszt.
I mean, come on. I mean, when you look at his music and stuff, the guy had an extraordinary piano technique, right?
Oh yeah, very, very much so.
It's interesting that Friedrich Kalkbrenner, who was located in Paris at that time, he was a renowned teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, seriously, and when Chopin first showed up, he offered to give Chopin lessons for 6 months to help clean up his playing. But I thought about this,
Yeah.
I know.
What?
I hope you guys remember, because I put it actually away back into the library just recently. The big square box of Chopin's complete music.
Yeah.
Right? There's a bunch of CDs in it. It's got interesting people, Felicia Blumenthal, and I think Orazio Frugoni is in there.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of similar to that LP set that I have. It's complete work.
Very similar.
What's really cool, what's different about the CD set, there's like close to a dozen extra CDs with historic performances. And just as this isn't what I'm going to talk about, but interestingly, 3 of those historic ones are, I believe, probably the 1930s Chopin recordings that Rubinstein did.
Yeah.
But what I was going to refer to is the very first one that I pulled out, which is the oldest recordings, is of a guy that Harold Schoenberg talks about. And until now, in the days of, what's his first name, Marston? Ward Marston, and things like that. With us growing up here in the Midwest, I mean, we had great access to good music and teaching and stuff, but not like New York City or Chicago or London or something like that. So it was very interesting reading when Schoenberg wrote about the great pianists, and he would talk about hearing the recordings. How do you hear these recordings? This is way before streaming and the internet and stuff like that. And it was impossible to have access to stuff. But anyway, the 3 guys on the first recording are Raoul Pugnot and de Pachman, and Vladimir de Pachman, and Ignaz Friedman.
Yes, very much.
Ignat Friedman, as you guys know, has turned out to be one of my all-time favorite pianists.
Yes.
He's a remarkable musician. But I have to say, now I've seen pictures of Pugno, and he had to have made these recordings when he was a bit older, right? Or maybe quite older.
Oh, yeah.
He had a big old Brahmsian kind of beard, you know. I think he's from a similar period of time as Camille Saint-Saëns. Saint-Saëns lived forever, right?
He lived a very long
from
time.
the 1830s into the 1920s or something like that.
Something
he
like
was
that.
close to 90 years old.
Rubinstein got to play for
And Godowsky studied with him for a while.
Yeah.
Played for him in Paris.
Yeah.
But, well, it's interesting. It's just on the side. De Pachmann clearly had an amazing technique. Really amazing.
Yeah.
But rather weird.
Yes, it is weird.
it's a little mannered.
Yeah.
But Pugno, on the other hand, extraordinary facility, technique, amazing, and lovely shaping of things and stuff. But you know what we read about and what we kind of talked about in past shows sometimes. I got really fascinated, post-COVID, and for a while, with the French school of piano playing. It was established in the early 19th century in Paris. Interestingly, the first director was an Italian, Luigi Cherubini.
Wow.
Was famously the first director. And for the longest time, until about the First World War, you could only get into the Paris Conservatoire if you were French, and the only teachers were French. They did make exceptions for geniuses sometimes, students. But during and after the First World War, there's so many guys that were killed in that war that there was a dearth of men pianists, I guess, and they started to admit necessarily more women as students. And then they, sometime after the First World War, I believe they began to start to introduce a few foreign teachers, non-French. So I would be interested to know what people say the French school is like, because there's some famous ones. Didn't Jean-Philippe Collard probably go there?
Oh, yeah, the Paris Conservatory.
Aldo Ciccolini. I mean, probably there's a lot of guys like that.
Yeah. The younger generation, Lise de la Salle.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would say with the Raoul Pugno, I'll get off this real quick.
Oh, that's okay.
But it's a very interesting kind of playing because it's, wow, it's, they often would talk about pearly.
Yeah.
Playing, like pearly playing.
Yeah.
Professor Wynn taught me really good fingers, and I remember Ellsworth told me that I had the best fingers of any of his students ever, because I think of Professor Wynn's training. He taught me Hanon and scales, and he called it the Hong Kong Conservatory technique. He wanted real independent finger dexterity in playing the things.
Yeah.
I consider it a little unnecessary. Ellsworth taught me about the wrist. Breathing, and people started talking about what a beautiful sound I had after I was working with Ellsworth. But you remember me when I studied with Dr. Wynn.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I was a hellion on the piano. I was not, really.
You should have seen him, folks.
I was a Midwestern tornado.
Yeah.
It was all passion, I mean, the piano back in those days for me was a huge escape from the reality of my family, which you've also talked about. So I was a storm front when I played. Just ferocious emotion and stuff.
Hurricane Marc. You should coin it.
But I was really impressed with Pugno. One, because he had to have been pretty old when he made these recordings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking 70s, maybe. But the playing is, wow.
Yeah.
Really clear. I mean, the recording quality.
Yeah.
But you can still hear in there,
of course,
extraordinarily clean pianism. And it reminds me of like some of those CDs we talked about, and I don't know if you heard it, that blonde lady that studied at the school, and she plays the Liszt Mephisto Waltz.
Yeah.
And she did it in 2 takes. But meaning first half, and then stop, and then she did the next one.
Yeah.
1 take fundamentally.
Yeah.
And recorded it in this nice instrument, nice acoustic place, but it's probably electric recording, not in the horn, as I recall.
Yeah.
But what was incredible about her is the cleanness of it in a way, but a kind of Horowitzian like daring and ferocity. I mean, she really took some not liberty, but risks, and they came off fabulously. My God, you know. But I've really been fascinated. Asha, I know I said I was going to shut up. I'll shut up after that. We did talk about a little bit, didn't we, about Gisa King and
we did.
teachers, Carl Leimer,
Yeah.
the book on technique and stuff. Gisa King is also one of my favorite pianists, and he's an interesting one because what's particularly interesting, he was very German, right? He even played in Nazi Germany and stuff and stayed there. He didn't try to leave. But he became known as an extraordinary interpreter of French music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Complete works of Debussy.
And it's interesting because the way that they talk about in that book about playing, it seems to be a very I don't know, different kinds of words, like pearly kind of approach, and I'd say conservative, and he always talks about contact with the keys, right? Being very close to the keys, not wasting a lot of energy and making a lot of movement stuff. I mean, if you listen to some of his studio recordings of the Debussy, and other people have written about this, like the Leo Joyers, lift you out of your chair. Yeah. It's an amazing performance. And it's a studio thing, but he didn't tend to like re-record a lot. Yeah. He took enormous risks in the studio. And, absolutely. And it's an amazing thing. But I'm just curious because my technique and everything over time, I had Professor Wynn who taught me things, and then Howard, who came from the Levine people at Juilliard. And then I would say, next really most importantly was Ellsworth, who taught me this kind of floating arm technique and the breathing wrist and things. And he had, he said it for Kuzhny, but he had developed his ideas very much from various sources. So I'm kind of a Catholic mixture of things. Mm-hmm. And I suppose I'm attracted to this because it's such a special and very particular kind of approach to the instrument, to playing this stuff, you know. It's very. I've become quite a student of 19th century and 20th century French history, Parisian history. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of books that I've collected. And I've been reading a few things. Yeah, but a lot of things. There's the ones right there. That's all those ones in the second shelf right there by the same author. American lady that went over and specialized, and she did a series of books from the Belle Époque through the Second World War. Yeah. Anyway, you know, the French are always characterized as being a certain kind of way. Yeah. I think it's interesting in the world, even now to this very day, there's Europe, and France is a somewhat unique and special part in Europe. One might say a little independent from the rest of things. They're part of the Union and all that, and Germany and France have been good friends for a long time now. But, you know, they were the first ones over there to establish a democracy after we did. Yeah. Pretty violent beginning to it, but and it went back and forth, interestingly, because there was, 3 republics and 3 kingdoms during the 19th century. They couldn't make up their mind. Yeah. But it's interesting because Vienna in Beethoven's time was the world capital for music. That's where everything happened. It was Vienna. And then, there were some places in Germany and such, but It's interesting. Schumann and Mendelssohn, as such, created spaces in Germany for there to be kind of music centers.
Yeah.
But not the way Vienna had been. And part of the reason that Vienna went was because of the Congress of Vienna after Napoleon's defeat in the early 19th century. And there was a very serious police state that developed.
Yeah.
That was always looking into people's business and stuff to try to avoid what happened in Paris ever happening, especially when Napoleon had come through. That's not going to happen here. And Schubert was arrested and held for overnight one time. And there's interesting stuff about that. But Paris just like took off. And in the 19th century, I mean, come on, it attracted Berlioz, Liszt, Paganini, Chopin. You know, just think of the people and the authors, all the great French writers and everybody that was there. One might say that Wagner put up a good fight in establishing Bayreuth as a great place for German culture in the later 19th century. But Paris kind of held the show from, say, Chopin's time all the way into at least the 20s or even 30s. And then Parisians might say, we never lost the show. even when the Nazis were there.
Yeah.
They loved us so much that they didn't bother our city so much.
Oh.
So anyway, I got way off on that.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say that about the French play. I remain really quite fascinated, and especially with the old stuff that they found and are releasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like what I really heard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's possible it is a lost art in a way. I'm sure there's still aspects of it that are still there. Courteau had a lot of students, and he studied with Louis Gamier.
Yeah, he
Gamier,
did.
I think it was his name. So there's a continuity of things there.
Beamer.
Anyway, so okay. Thanks for letting me jab.
Sure, no problem. Okay.
That all came from that
I'm going to. I'm sorry.
So that all came from the
Chopin book. Yeah, children's book. Okay, folks. My visit to the book sale
Arlington
at Upper Arlington Public Library, I thought it was going to be a bust. And basically, until I found just this one item. I only purchased one item that whole time I was there. I was there for 2 hours.
Did you get the Hungarian book?
Oh yeah, I did get that. I'm sorry.
That's not music, though.
No, that's not music. But this one's a score.
Wow.
I didn't bring this one because, well, I wanted time to look at it first. Okay, what I have in my hands is perhaps, I don't know. I'll let you choose what you want to do with this.
I don't know what he'd be
This
like.
this might be a segment you might need.
Be like as a poker player, you know what I'm saying?
You might need
He holds it pretty close to his chest there.
Okay. Well, all right. What I have in my hands is a full score of a piano concerto.
Oh, the full score.
It is the full score,
So
with the
conductor
orchestra
score.
parts and everything, and also the piano parts
Ah.
by a Korean composer,
Oh, that's why you asked about that.
Byung Dong Peck or Peck.
Pike.
Pike.
I think they would say Pike.
Okay.
Byung-Dong Pike.
This is it.
Wow. Looks like it's handwritten.
It basically is. I think the inside, well, aside from the outside, which is basically, it looks like it has been handwritten on the outside, but the actual score itself, I believe, is a photocopy of the original.
Handwritten manuscript? Oh, yeah.
Okay. To say the least, there is no year of publication for this. I couldn't find it. It's not on here. There is no year of copyright. There is no year of when he premiered it, or if anyone premiered it. There's very little on the internet about this composer. Very little. The information that I have found, however, okay, I'll read it to you. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'll do that later. He was born on January 26, 1936 in Seoul, Korea. To this day, according to this information I received, he is still alive. He is 89 years old in Manchuria.
Yeah, so he's living in China.
Studies were done in Seoul National University. He received his Bachelor of Arts in 1959. He eventually was appointed as a professor there, 1976. He did studies with Fritz von Bloch, and later on studied with Lee Sang-yoon. And I guess it was Lee Sang-yoon. He did that in Germany, according to this.
The name.
According to this, so. As far as piano solo music is concerned, I've only been able to find sites of the three bagatelles that he had composed in 1973. It was under the category of pedagogical piano repertoire, and I only saw one half of a page of the score. And I'm sorry, it doesn't look anything pedagogical. I mean, even the most seasoned pianist would probably have problems with it. There were no bar lines or anything in it. Okay, so this composer composes for orchestra. He's composed chamber works, composed works for solo instruments. He has a cantata, an opera. He's also, apparently he's done about 50 songs, a lot of it based on Korean traditional music. What? Did you find something?
Yeah.
PSI, really investigating.
The article's written by Nicholas Slanimsky.
There are?
Nicholas Slanimsky, the famous dictionary dude.
Holy moly.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff. This guy's the real McCoy. He studied in Seoul, and then he went and studied at the Hochschule für Musik in Hanover. And he was a professor at the College of Music in Seoul. Head of the composition department 81 to 87. But there's lists of works, a lot of stuff for all different kinds of things. God, very busy.
Wow.
Impressive. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, anyways.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. So,
well, this is a rare peek at the underbelly of our iceberg.
yes, no kidding. Korea. So, the mystery goes on. Okay, so I've only recently started, looking through the score, and lo and behold, I didn't see this, but just before the second movement, I find this.
Yeah, I saw something in there. Oh.
I don't know what that is, and I tried to find some Korean people to see if they can translate it for me, but I asked, well, is it Korean or not? And he says, well, yeah, it's Korean, but they said it's written sort of like code, or it's encrypted or some sort. He says it just didn't make any sense.
It's written, it's dated 9th of January,
1986. It's the first page.
And it's on the first page.
Yeah.
What if it's a poem or a dedication? Looks like a poem, but by the structure. There's just a few words on each line. There's a period there. It's in his own handwriting. Probably the composer.
You think it is?
Yeah, I would think it might be. Why not? It's on his music, and it looks like a poem or something like that. Just from a
You
structure.
can read this?
No. But I did
Well,
I did live in Japan, and
Yeah.
it could be a letter, but why is it so square? Why didn't it just like it looks structured more like it's a poem. But you take it. There's places here, but somebody's got to be able to read that.
Well, there's a Korean restaurant over at the mall. I took it over there, and they said it doesn't make any sense. Is what they said. They looked at it and said, well, this doesn't make any sense. then I asked, well, is it Korean or isn't it Korean? He says, yes, it's Korean, but he says she said in her own way, it's sort of coded. It's like in code, is what she said. Her words, not mine.
You know, I do know some Korean folks, but honestly, now you talk about it, I don't think I know any here in Columbus. So not personally. Like
I was thinking a pianist. Find a pianist that might be able to relate to.
I would think a professor who's well educated,
Okay.
Korean, and maybe older, because it's possible. I know that he was born in '36, so it's before the Second World War.
Yeah.
And then would have been alive kind of during that time.
Yeah.
I know that in Japan, I mean, certain things, Japanese are just as old as they've always been.
Mm-hmm.
But there are modern developments in the language and the way they write and things like that. And definitely the use of characters in Japanese, where the older people would have known things differently than tends to be taught nowadays. So I'd suggest maybe you want to look at somebody who's, you can find anybody who's still got a great head, and they're like 70 years old, and well educated, might be able to handle it.
Wow. Well, let me show the folks at home. Here's what I found.
Nice color.
Yeah, very nice color.
And how did it end up in Columbus, Ohio?
I have absolutely no idea. And this is what it looks like. See?
I guard that piece of paper in there nicely.
Yeah.
Because I bet you possibly it from him to somebody.
Well, it would definitely be interesting to find out. So, with all the scribblings and the little dots in the thing, I actually tried my best to play through it. I tried my best.
Good for you.
So, even though, it's scored, I mean, there's many parts to it, okay? I mean, it's got the woodwinds, it's got the brass, percussion, piano, and then the strings. I mean, the whole thing is like that. There's many parts. I think a performance of it would actually do it more of a service if the orchestra was smaller, maybe down to a chamber orchestra or something, because there's so many lines, and in a way, it's the structures, the phrases, the compositional techniques has more relation to Baroque and classical music, really. It opens very slowly here. There are 3 movements to it. Oh, by the way, not to mention, this score is actually written in concert pitch, okay, which means it's sort of like the Prokofiev approach to orchestration, where he wrote everything in supposedly for C instruments, okay, so for easy reading. So basically that's what this guy did. There are 3 movements. The first movement, a preludium, 3 quarter notes at 58. The second movement, oddly enough, written in German, Spielen, which means
Playing.
That's it?
Or games.
Games?
Yeah.
Okay. He has it, time signature 5/8, eighth note to the 160. Third movement is epilogue. It's in 4, quarter note at 74. That's what it is. So, offhand, the opening pages starts very slow, long valued notes. It's almost like one note at a time. I mean, if you didn't know better, it starts out with a D and the violas, I think. And eventually some more instruments come in, woodwind or 2 comes in, and it almost becomes eventually sort of like it almost opens into a chorale for just the orchestra. not for the full orchestra, but just little segments, some of the strings, the maybe woodwinds. The piano doesn't come in until about measure 10 or 12. And even in that, it involves sort of 3 to 4 part writing. As far as melodic material, it's very, how would you say? Okay, put it this way: it's not a piece necessarily for public consumption. If anything, if you perform it, you would probably find more interest in the work, maybe at a university level.
This paper is from Asia. I remember seeing and feeling paper like this in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's made so that it has like grass and leaves and various kinds of things on it, so that when it's pressed, it creates this kind of texture on the paper. Wow. This is totally Asian production, and it's probably obviously self-done because there's no publisher, no nothing information about it. Yeah. It's lovely paper, really. It's nice. It reminds me of things in Japan. I know I interrupted you, but
that's okay.
I would suggest one other thing. How does this end up in an Upper Arlington library?
That's a good question.
I would look at OSU
yeah.
in their collection of master's theses and doctoral dissertations,
okay,
and see if there isn't a Korean pianist that might have been here as a student who did a special research on this guy and the composition and wrote a paper about it. And those things are kept they're kept forever. Okay. Master's theses and doctoral dissertations are recorded in the university archives forever. So you can look them up. You should be able to, if you were to go to the music library, they might be able to help you find the source for it. Because how else did that thing get here? I mean, you lived here a long time. Yeah. You never heard that performed here in Columbus.
No, I've never heard it performed.
Yeah. I have a feeling there was a Korean student who, perhaps very nationalistically, probably wanted to do paper on this person. And, it could be not a Korean person, but the likelihood of someone really knowing about it and wanting to look at it. Just reminds me of certain things as when I was a student. We did a really cool class in Madison at the master's level, which was on 20th century piano concerto. It was really cool because the piano faculty came in at different times during the semester, and they presented one. Mm-hmm. Each one of us in the class had to research and present a 20th century piano concerto. I think some of us did too.
Wow.
I did, I believe it was Hinastera.
Oh, gosh.
I remember I did too. But the good is Howard came in and did the Bear piano concerto because he performed it. Wow. And Todd came in and I think did Stravinsky. Mr. Chilton, I don't remember which one he did. But it was a kind of cool class. But what came out of it, I think I presented two, but I definitely remember my paper was on the Hinastera piano. One of them anyway. Yeah. Honestly, I don't remember now if there's more than one. But I did my paper on that. It was a pretty serious paper on the Hinastera piano concerto, full analysis and all that. I have a feeling this was that kind of a project. Okay. This is interesting, if you look at it closely. The guy has gorgeous handwriting. It's very clean, very careful. It's super clean, and it needs to be, because I would say it's Second Viennese School inspired, probably, wouldn't you? Oh yeah. I was looking to try to see what kind of a tone row is there. I don't think it was
looking for that.
I don't think it was full 12.
No, it's not.
But what do you call it when you have like 6 of them? And it's not necessarily a complete 12. It's a set theory, right?
Something like that.
So it's where you have a certain sequence of notes, but it's not the full 12 out of the octave.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call it, I remember it was set theory, where you have sometimes 6 of them, or I think it's possible to do any set. You can have 4 notes, and they're repeated certain ways. And I saw that in the beginning in the prelude to some extent. And then I was trying to look at, because it's incredibly pointillistically rhythmic.
Yes, it is.
And very, it's very serial. And I was just looking at the piano part. I didn't really look at the score, whole score.
Yeah.
But it looks to me much less Bergy, just to make a comparison.
Yeah.
And more Webern-y, maybe. Except it's a little more dense than that. A little more than what Webern was.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But it's not Schoenbergian.
Yeah.
And it's, Berg wrote such wonderfully dense stuff, Wozzeck and the piano concerto, the violin concerto, my God. Gorgeous things. Managed to keep some heart and romance in serial music. Anyway.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh, that's all right.
But I was thinking, if you're really curious, I bet if you went to OSU Music Library.
Okay.
Said, look, I found this piece, and this is what I'm thinking. Is there a master's thesis or dissertation by any student on this guy? I think that's the most likely way it would show up. That piece has been brought over here from Korea.
Yeah.
That didn't start somewhere in Europe or here.
No, I'm sure.
That's Asian paper. And the paper quality is good inside.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. Yeah, they do everything right. So, anyways, like I said, it sort of opens chorale-like, sort of, okay? And like I said, around the 12th or 15th measure, the piano comes in, and it's more or less sort of a free fantasy-like. So yeah, sort of. I mean, it's not. It's the texture is very thin. You've got something going on either side of the hand, even on the right and even on the left. Very few anything recognizable as far as being pianistic. Pedaling, I'd be really careful with the pedaling in this piece. Some of the sustained bass notes would probably be a good clue as to how you would pedal this. That's what I recommend. Now, as you move forward, I counted the measures. I think it was about measure 27, letter C. We finally have some material here that looks recognizable pianistically. Take a good look at it. So you have this little thing here on the left hand. It's sort of, it's not it's not exactly a broken chord or anything, but it looks and feels like piano music. See, and if you were looking at it at a distance, it almost looked like, to tell you the truth, sort of thinned out Rachmaninoff-ish. So, most of the work, the first movement, Preludium, doesn't reach much, dynamically doesn't reach much past mezzo forte. However, in the closing measures of the first movement, we have fortissimo, even triple forte. It ends quite dramatically. Look at that. Yeah, triple forte, sforzando at the end. Yeah, the final chord, it pretty much ends with a boom. Now, the second movement, Spielen. Did I say that right? So, this is an interesting work. This is where a lot of the major work really is done by both the ensemble and the piano. It's basically a toccata. That is my opinion. That's opinion. Maybe the composer, maybe the composer might think differently, but to me, it has the look and feel of a toccata. Now here, remember when I said at the beginning it has sort of Baroque-ish and classical elements? Well, right here, not very far off from the opening of the second movement, you have canonic material. It starts off over here in the second violins, and the first violins follow afterwards. It's a canon in unison, basically. The piano is not heard for quite a while here, and when it does, it starts off with a cadenza. Here, let me show the folks this. Did you see this right here? Check that out. I mean, that's almost Lisztian right there. It starts up way up here, the upper register.
You know what I'd say? It reminds me of, because the way it's written.
What?
First name of kid might Doc
Doc 90, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking
because
too.
it has a Brahmsian look to it.
Yeah, it does.
And I remember seeing that in his music. It's like the perfect marriage of Brahms and
Liszt, yeah.
pianistically.
Yeah. Here, let me show the folks. Check out this cadenza. Right there. See it? It's hard to tell. But that's how the piano opens a few measures later after during the second movement. And it's off to the races. It starts up at the upper register and works its way down. And eventually we reach letter C. Take a look at this part, the piano part. All those repeated notes right there, decorating the whatever melodic material that's going on in the lower, much lower bass. At this point, it almost feels like Bartok. Really. I mean, seriously, it's almost like Bartok. All the repeated notes. And you know what? I remember reading something in one of the few essays they had on the internet concerning how the compositional techniques they like to use as far as being a Korean composer. They say that what they like to do is they like to use single note melodies with longer note values and surround it and decorate it with other filigrees around it. In this case, it's that repeated note, and we got the melodic material down here. So, and this goes on for a while. You need stamina as far as being a pianist to handle some of this stuff. Here, it's a spot here that's almost Lisztian, where the octaves are just going like that, basically. It's chaotic. Oh, we finally get a break on page 54. Wow. Wonderful. Here, it almost becomes more exclamatory. Ba-chunk. Then here's the timpani, which answers with just 3 notes, but bum-bum-bum. A couple notes from the timpani. So, wonderful. The conclusion of the second movement, Spielen. Wow, we have another cadenza. Holy crap, I forgot about that part. The second movement pretty much closes much like the first movement. Very, very loud. Lots of notes. The epilogue, interestingly, is the atmosphere is very similar to the preludium here. It's almost like afterthoughts. In a way, have you ever watched Rod Serling's old shows, where something like The Night Gallery or The Twilight Zone, where you had Rod Serling, talking about what he thinks are realities of some of his tales that he tells. And then he says, this is so-and-so. He is about to do this and do this, not realizing the repercussions of his actions. He will soon enter the Twilight Zone. And then they tell the story. And then at the end, he gives a basic synopsis of what the results of the character's actions, and says, and that's what happens when you enter the Twilight Zone. the way he sets this up kind of reminds me of that. I mean, the preludium sort of sets the atmosphere, and then the game begins, so to speak, on the second movement. Then the epilogue at the end is sort of a reflection of how, how he actually felt about the second movement. It's very similar. So, but what a work. Very difficult work, very demanding. To say the least, it was a pain in the butt to play. I better save this. Ooh. What, you found something?
That's good. Go ahead.
Okay, anyways.
You know,
All right, I was hoping. See, this is,
chamber control number 3.
yeah. See, this is PSI at work. Yeah. Okay, so what else have I found in my travels? Well,
Okay.
what did you find? Chamber?
Chamber concerto number 3.
Is it his?
Yeah.
Wow.
20 minutes long.
Well, just from what I heard in there, it sounds like Korean music in some places.
Good.
Okay, so what have we been listening to? Well, look what I found. Here it is. Johann Nepomuk Hummel.
Oh.
The Complete Piano Sonatas in 3 volumes. Volume 1. Performed by Constance King.
I don't know that name, Constance Key.
Yes, she was a professor at Juilliard.
Oh.
Her husband is Abram Chasins.
Abram Chase.
Abram Chasins.
Yeah. He's a big writer. And himself a pianist.
Here it is.
Hummel was Mozart's piano student and wrote really pretty virtuosic stuff for the time.
Yeah.
He was quite famous
Have you played it?
in Central Europe. No, I never really played much of his stuff. I have, I have these works. I can't remember the woman's name, but the Hummel sonatas on a contemporary forte piano of the time, played by a woman. It's in my library. I didn't know you were going to bring this up. Could have pulled it out. Margaret.
Fingerhook?
No, that's not the pianist's name. It's the piano builder.
Oh, the piano builder.
Margaret. Damn it. I'll put it up on the screen. I met her. Knew her. She was in Wisconsin. She built an 1816 copy of Nanette Streicher's forte piano.
Ooh, holy moly.
And this lady that I'm talking about, the pianist, I think she could have been Wisconsin artist.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure, but it was really interesting. But Margaret Hood, she's a really interesting lady. But it was a cool instrument. 1816 Nanette Streicher, which was a favorite piano builder of Beethoven.
Wow.
He really loved her pianos. And it's a sturdy instrument. It's, a good 6 octaves, I think. The Mozart piano is about 5.
Yeah.
This is a good 6 or 6 plus, I forget. And it's definitely got more oomph in it. It's not like a Graf. It still looks like a Mozart-style forte piano. It's a little bit narrower and longer. But I actually played it.
Wow.
It was interesting instrument because she also showed it at the Boston Early Music Festival that I went to when I was a doctor as well.
Now, did it have pedals or did it have levers?
Lots of them.
Lots of
At least 5.
Wow.
It's possible there were more, I forget. Because this was that period of time when, they have what they call Habeldämpfer. The Habeldämpfer was the Viennese system of having the dampers above the strings in a system that was held above it. And the dampers would sit on it, and then when you play, they go up.
Huh.
But the Hebel part, they didn't dampen as powerfully as modern ones do it, where they're on the little steel wires that come down. They just kind of sat on top of the strings, so it allows for a little bit more of a haze, just a little bit in the sound. They like that, you know. And then you can just push down one of the pedals, and they all go up, and then you can play it freely and with them. Okay.
Yeah.
But there are sometimes, I don't remember on this piano, but it wasn't unusual necessarily to have, what do you call them? What is that thing that has the ching ching ching? It's round and has little cymbals in it. You bang it.
Oh.
Steinbeld's wife used to.
Oh,
play
tambourines.
Yeah, there's a tambourine setting.
Oh, jeez, that's great.
There's a bassoon setting.
Really?
It uses a kind of a piece of like parchment paper
Yeah,
that creates. It sits on the string and it creates a kind of a rattly
yeah.
kind of sound that's
Yeah.
supposed to imitate a bassoon. But anyway, no, Hummel. I never played his stuff. The A major concerto was very famous.
Yeah,
Didn't who's the brilliant English guy?
yes, Stephen Hoff.
Stephen. He played.
Yeah, he played a few. He played a couple of the piano concertos. I think one was E minor, the other one was B minor. I think they were both in minor key, but I think he's written more concertos than that.
Yeah.
So
He had actually interesting. I mean, he's a little bit. This is definitely, even for a historically famous composer, he's definitely scratching on the underbelly of that iceberg nowadays.
yeah, he sure did.
Because, well, in his case, he had in his lifetime a good career. He was very well known. He performed a lot. He had students, and I think he did well in life, as I recall. But Mozart was his teacher. So at some point, Mozart became the wolf tree. It just blocked all the sunlight.
Yeah,
basically.
Right. So there is a story. Apparently, Hummel and Beethoven did lock horns at one point at a gala affair at somebody's house, and basically a piano duel ensued. So I guess Hummel won the coin flip and wound up playing first. They were supposed to improvise on a theme that supposedly he composed. So he composed, and so he challenged Beethoven to do the same. And so what does Beethoven do? He takes the score, turns it upside down, and plays the theme with his thumb like this. And so basically just saying how bad it was. So the variations ensued after that. And apparently there was he was really up against the master. Okay? He was not.
Well,
he was not. So
his music is Mozartian, and a little bit more than that. It's like somewhere where you can almost wonder if what Czerny was doing at the time.
Yes.
And Mendelssohn as well.
Yeah.
That kind of influence. But no, come on.
See, I was going to say,
who would ever, in their right mind, in any situation, put themselves up against Beethoven?
That guy.
He was. I mean, come on. It's like that. Is it a comet or not? That Atlas thing that's going to be coming through at some point. I mean, that's Beethoven. The guy just was. I have something I wanted to share eventually.
Well, anyways, I'll conclude.
No, it's okay.
But this. I've listened to the CD, and as far as the quality of the sonatas, I'd have to compare them to maybe something like later Clementi sonatas, or a watered down version of Carl Maria von Weber.
Yeah.
But I would also have to say, probably Mendelssohn piano sonatas, those were early works.
Yeah.
Okay, he was just a kid when he composed the piano sonatas. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And he has more in common with that group.
Yeah.
Now, however, if you've listened to Stephen Hoff's recordings of the piano concertos, the 2 of them, they have the themes itself. Okay, pianistically, not so much in common, but the themes itself, I swear, if you were not familiar with Chopin's concertos, you would have thought these were them because it uses that signature rhythm where he goes out dun 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 theme. It has that rhythm. Even the Chopin concerto, the opening of when the piano starts, he starts out with that E minor chord, dun 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 dun, drum drum drum. So, and he seems to use it. Well, he uses that kind of a rhythmic motif in both concertos, and so he sort of limited himself to that, and just worked out other ideas concerning that rhythmic. How would you say?
Well, we would say he was a man of his time.
Yeah.
Man of his time. Prospered, profited.
Oh yeah.
And then kind of, got forgotten a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe one day we'll do a featured composer on this guy. I have, believe it or not, I have collected a lot of his music.
I'd be interested, not just him, but that period. Maybe the first 20, 25 years of the 19th century.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carl Miller,
Chopin was not mature enough to really be included in that, but Weber, Mendelssohn, Hummel, and just kind of
maybe not Mendelssohn. He was 1809.
Yeah, but I said 1825, so he was 16.
He would have been 16. Oh, he had already composed the Midsummer.
At that point.
Yeah, the Midsummer Dreams Overture.
No, the Italian Symphony. He wrote when he was 16 years old. Because there was a kind of musical style and tradition back then. It was an interesting period. I mean, Beethoven, I would say, because he wasn't playing anymore, it was absent from that in a way. And then his work that was coming out, the great works, really standing people. I mean, they were, even what people did get to hear, they were very impressed, but I don't think they understood it. The later works of Beethoven, I think it took another half century to really begin for people to get themselves around it. Anyway, it's kind of fascinating because I actually became interested in that period because I figured that Malcolm Bilson had already just done the Mozart piano, the Mozart period, and that forte piano to the gills. And back in the day when I was interested in that stuff, I was thinking, I want to move into the 19th century. I was even, in fact, wanting to go through the 19th century. But now subsequently other people have written books and everything's, Robert, forget his name, became a big one for the early 19th century. But there's all kinds of stuff that's been done since then. And more of those instruments came out and people learned about them and so forth. So anyway. Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's very good.
Good find.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what we found.
Good for you.
Interesting material. So you seem to have some stuff here.
I have some stuff which would still go through after. Now this,
Okay.
I want to talk about this just a tiny bit because you mentioned the Hummel and I brought this up. I don't think that either one of us noticed this. I pulled out, this Beethoven past and present with Lambert Orcus on the keyboard.
Ooh.
And David Hardy, who it turns out is a wonderful cellist. Very exciting cellist.
Wow.
I learned about Lambert. I thought the name was so unusual. I thought it was even like that for, what's her name, that famous singer with Cosmo McMoon, her pianist.
Oh, that Florence, what's her face?
Yeah, Florence Foster Jenkins. But no, his real name is Lambert Orcus. But I first learned about him because he was Sophie Munter's pianist and did all the Beethoven violin sonatas with her.
Is that what that is?
No.
No?
These are all the cello works.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
he has two historic instruments that he plays. Well, there's two things. One, the very first piece that they played is 12 variations on See the Conquering Hero Comes from Handel's oratorio Truce Maccabeus. And I didn't know the work. It's a work without opus, meaning that Beethoven really never published it or didn't consider doing it. But there are 12 variations, and it's really good. I mean, what's really amazing is there's the song from that you would recognize it if you heard it, and then Beethoven just goes on, and it's like, wow, the boy could really pull crap out of his belt. I mean, it just one variation after the next. It's very much in the style of what you expect, you know, like the 32 variations you're working on and stuff.
Yeah.
There's minor moments, you know,
Yeah.
this and that, but what's really extraordinary about them 32 variations that he does is he has this simple thing, bum, ba, da, dum, bum, ba, da, ba, da, dum, bum, ba, yeah, and then he varies it 32 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
The imagination and everything is really extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, and
You know he hated the work.
yeah. Well, in some ways, I mean, it's a good work
Yeah.
because the variations are short,
Yeah.
but technically they're challenging and they really,
Yeah.
you know, help develop technical problems
Yeah.
or overcome technical problems. Professor Wayne gave it to me back when I was
12.
No, I started with it when I was 14, but
Oh.
I think I learned that that's one of the early things that he gave me. I started out with the first sonata, F minor.
Okay.
I think after that he gave me the 32 variations.
Oh, okay.
So 15,
Yeah, that's a good. That's a
15 or so.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway,
good start.
this is the very first thing on the first CD. So let's do it. Then I actually listened to the first sonata as well. The cello sonatas of Beethoven are very important because he starts out very early, Opus 5, which is just shortly after the Opus 3s, right? Piano sonatas. And his last two are Opus 102, which is getting up there for Beethoven. I played the sixth one, Opus 102 in D major, with Louise Buffett. She's a graduate cellist at Madison. Very, very good. That booger's something else because he wrote a fugue in the last movement of it.
Yeah.
And the hands cross
Yeah.
on the last page. And I remember taking it to Howard because I said, how in the hell are you supposed to play this? And Howard laughed. He said, you have to make a choice. What's more important? And leave the other one out.
Yeah.
He said Beethoven wrote this purely as a compositional moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knew this is impossible. You cannot play where the notes, because it goes, and the other one's right hovering right here. And you're either going to go with the ascending line or the stuff in the right hand. I went with the ascending line because I thought it was more fugal.
Sing it. Sing the other part.
Sing the other part.
Sing
No, but what I wanted to say about the performances, these guys are really incredible. I mean, it's so Beethoven. You know, you think about, I wondered if it's completely justified or if it's something that's developed historical. The kind of idea about Beethoven as the revolutionary and as the propulsive, motoric kind of power, you know. And some people play Beethoven. I mean, like, there's a famous recording of Emil Gilels playing the Opus 54, right?
54? Yeah.
Yeah.
F major?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one called? No, not that. Opus 54. What is it, 53? Not the Appassionata, but the other one. With the
Waldstein?
The Waldstein.
Oh, yeah, it's 53. Yeah.
Very powerful, Opus 53, sorry. But then I also think about Kempf's Beethoven.
Two vastly different personalities there.
And then there's also Schnabel's in a way, which is somewhat playful, dance-like.
Yeah.
Or I might say driven, too, in a way, rhythmically, you know, tense.
But alive.
Yeah, very much so.
Alive. I mean, there's something, it's
I
not...
think playful isn't the right word,
Yeah.
but there's like a brilliant mind at work, which is just like watching popcorn finally get the heat and start to pop, you know.
Yeah.
That was one of my first collections, was the Schnabel sonatas on LP. So it left a lasting influence, and then more later in my life, probably master's level, I started to learn about Wilhelm Kempf. But anyway, and I do think that performance practice musicians perhaps are influenced more by the Have you played a fortepiano? You know,
I have never played
you know
forte
what you
piano.
can't do on a fortepiano, Mozart or even in Beethoven's time, is make this glorious singing legato
Right.
like Kemp can do.
Yeah.
Kemp, I also think he loved to play the organ. His dad
Yeah.
was, I made a mistake. I said in the previous show that his dad was cantor. That's a Jewish thing. His dad was, what do you call the leader of the church back in those days?
Pastor?
No, not that. The music director.
Oh, music director.
I forget the word.
Kapellmeister?
Kapellmeister, yeah. His father was Kapellmeister at a big church in Berlin. And that's where he disappeared in the last year of his lessons with Bard. He went off and was playing at the church, playing the organ. Showed up a week or two before his final exam, and I got this, we can do it. Everything's fine. But there's something organish about the way he plays, and, and his definitely his own music.
Oh yeah.
And I love it. I think it's also very persuasive, but it's also
very spiritual.
Yes,
It has sort of a soul to it. I mean, listen to the tempo he takes to even just the Moonlight Sonata. Did you hear that?
Example, yeah.
I mean, it's just, all right. To more inexperienced ears, if they listen to his recording of Moonlight Sonata, they're going to, the general public are going to listen to it and say, it's so slow.
Yeah, but he sustains it amazingly.
But listen, you see, they're not getting the point. I mean, for you out there, we're assuming most of you are really seasoned musicians. If you listen to it, there's something about it that just draws you in. You see, you hear, you feel the man's soul. I mean, it's just there.
Well, what I was going to say about the cello sonata, but this is true, for example, the Opus. That's Opus 14, number 2, right?
Yeah.
Well, even the piano sonatas as a group. I mean, Beethoven was always. He never, like Homo. Let's say Homo, found a formula that works, it's good, and it doesn't veer too far from that.
Yeah.
Beethoven was constantly looking for new stuff, new ideas, challenging himself to come up with something. It's like, yeah, we did that. Okay, that's done. Opus 14, number 2, The Moonlight, is an experiment in kind of setting this. Well, he calls both of them, the first and the second ones.
Yes.
They're fantasies-like sonatas.
Yeah.
So fantasy quasi-sonata, right? Or sonata quasi-fantasia.
Quasi-fantasia.
Yeah. And of course, the Moonlight begins with a very famous beginning, but then it has this furioso third movement. Which just it's just very motoric thing that just roars. Well,
and the flower between the two,
the little
granites
movement. And he does that in various cases, like with the Opus 81A, the what's the guy's name? Prince. What's his name? When he comes back from having been conquered.
Ferdinand? Who are we talking about?
The Opus 81A. Archduke. Yeah.
Archduke Rudolph?
Archduke Rudolph, yeah. It's dedicated to him.
Yeah.
The E flat.
Yeah.
It's the beginning, and then that reminds me, frankly, of the Opus 8 as well, which is jump, and then jump, which is perfect classical kind of canon writing.
Yeah.
And Opus 81 is kind of like that, but then it has that very strange little jump, and it's supposed to be when he was away, and it's just like kind of like time is just hanging because Napoleon is controlling things for a while, and then finally. He writes basically the G.
Yeah.
in the third movement, and it's a tough little booker. It's fun to play.
Yeah.
But that's his excitement about Prince Rudolph coming back finally after Napoleon. I was going to say anyway.
Here, may I show?
These sonatas, yeah, and make sure that you look at and show them that.
Oh,
It's signed by both artists.
where did you find this?
It's personally signed. I bought it on Amazon.
Holy crap!
So it came out of somebody's personal library.
Holy moly!
Signed by Lambert Orchis and Daniel Hardy, the cellist. Anyway, I love their playing.
Wow.
And I was going to say that I think maybe some of that percussive and motoric playing comes from the nature of the piano at the time. Because
Gosh, this is a Chinese box.
it would, yeah,
I'll let you put it together. Here it is.
it's a very driven and very, what one could say, classic Beethoven. And the virtuosity on both parts, Lambert and Daniel, the cellist, is amazing. The energy is fabulous. It's really infectious. So I just wanted to say it's a bit of a review about that. We presented that in the last show or two
Yeah.
when I had shared my purchases. But I finally got a chance to listen to some of it. And I remember now why also. I love the Beethoven sonatas with Anna Sophie Mutter and him playing.
Mhm.
Guy's incredible. He was at, maybe still is, I don't know, Temple University in Philadelphia. And presumably, I don't know if those are his own instruments.
Yeah.
But they're, Beethoven period forte pianos. And they just have this really rambunctious and kind of a nasally, just kind of really bitey and intense kind of sound, which works really well in terms of rhythmic stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Like one of my favorite things is anybody like Paul Berger-Skoda, or again, got Orchis playing it too, but when you hear the Waldstein, on the forte piano, it just has a bite in it that you can't get from a modern instrument because the string. I mean, ukulele's is very driven and incredibly fast, and approaches that kind of motoric thing, but on a modern instrument. But anyway, so I got a couple other things.
Oh, watch your glass.
Books and recording. So I was influenced by to get these because of two things. But I saw a really well-made video of about Maurizio Pollini. I'm not sure if it was this guy, Monsignor, who did this fantastic set all about Yehudi Menuhin, which I got. He's a French, they were buddies actually.
Yeah.
But he's a French filmmaker and music documentarian and so forth. I don't know if that was him or if I'm thinking about the YouTube video I saw of Sviatoslav Richter, which was really cool too. That could have been Bruno Monsignor, I think. But anyway, I was really quite impressed with Pollini because he's older in the thing. He's not like ancient, but he's older. And just I've learned to really appreciate the uniqueness of the Italian upper class culture by knowing Alessandro Siciliani, the conductor.
Yeah. We
become friends and worked together as colleagues. He was director of the Columbus Symphony and then the opera company, opera project. And he'd also conducted in Philadelphia, New York, and Russia, a lot of places. His father was an incredibly famous director of many opera companies and also himself a pianist and conductor. But he was maybe more especially famous as a music administrative director of some of the great opera houses, including La Scala. So I've just managed to thus be interested in historically. There's even a cookbook I have by Lorenzo de' Medici. It's from the Medici family.
Wow.
But she's, I think she's still alive, but she must be an old lady now. But she came out, after the war, I suppose, and had these cookbooks and things like that. And was really trying to teach people, I suppose, in American places, pizza's wonderful, lasagna's good, and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot more Italian cooking than that. That kind of cooking came from mostly the Sicilians.
Yeah.
Mafia stuff, things like that. And
Okay.
the kind of stuff that developed in the United States. And there's this one book I have which is beautiful, where she's introducing the reality of culinary history, which was the peasante, the paisans, and the upper class people, and the nature of the food and how it was different, how it was prepared and all that. But it's very clear when you see Polini, I believe he's from Milan, as was Abbado, and there's another third Italian. There's a picture of them all together. I think in one of these or somewhere, but a real intellectual. In the room that he's in, he has his books, and he has a reading table.
Yeah.
And he's studying his scores at the reading table, making pencil markings, things like that. A lot of you guys, he's playing. And I would say maybe back in the day,
Yeah.
I was not necessarily a big fan. I mean, I was impressed.
Of Polini?
Yeah, I mean, of the Chopin etudes or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
But he wasn't my go-to pianist to begin with certain things. I really was drawn more to more romantic, emotional,
Yeah.
or one might say the warmth of Rubinstein's playing.
Uh-huh.
Not always the crazy eccentricity. Sometimes it was like too much out there for Horowitz, but Horowitz, come on.
Yeah.
I suppose I was attracted initially to, I don't know, something more like that, but not really originally Alexei Weissenberg and not Maurizio Polini, and although I was very impressed sometimes with what Glels could do, not that kind of machine Soviet motoric kind of monster playing that was less about poetry and more about war somehow. There's some performances like I just think, well, come on, I'm sorry, but when Vladimir Ashkenazy gets going at some of those etudes and some things, it's just, to me, it's banging. I mean, it tries to go for this massive sound and very fast. And it's, come on. I mean, when you hear Friedman, if you've got an ear for the poetry, that's not poetry. Like, I've got the complete Rachmaninoff concerto with Ashkenazy. It's a very famous LP set.
Yeah. And?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Okay.
I mean, he bangs the shit out of those Steinways. And we don't usually poop on people. And sorry, I'm not really pooping on him. I'm just saying, relative to certain things. It's not to say, well, these guys, they definitely can play the piano, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But I've even gone farther towards maybe even the older fashioned kind of art that really treated the instrument as a poetic vehicle.
Yeah.
Right? However, I was very impressed with some of what I heard, and then really getting to know his biography. And I know about him. He won the Chopin competition, and Rubinstein famously, as chair of the jury, said, we should all quit and take lessons from Polini, or let him do the job. Something like that.
Yeah, something.
I do have one recording that I've always loved, however, an LP.
Okay.
Carl Böhm conducted the Vienna Philharmonic.
All right.
In Beethoven's Fourth with Polini. It's a mesmerizing performance. It's one that stands out to me. It's one of my favorite Beethoven Fourths. Is the Polini and the Carl Böhm thing. So anyway, I thought I'd give him a shot. And I got these. These are a bit more recent in his career. He's an old dude now, and he just died. I think. And
he did.
There was some stuff that came out. I think one of the last
summer
recordings was forehand stuff of Schubert with his son.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I hadn't heard it, but I thought about it. But no, this is a compilation of the 5 Beethoven concerti, and his old buddy, Italian cohort. Abbado and the Berlin Philharmonic when he was directing it. And that's the Five Concerti. I haven't listened yet. I haven't had time.
Oh, wow.
And then I got this one. You showed me this one too.
Okay.
This is his collection, which he put together over a few years, but they finally got it all together in one box, which is cool. But it's his collected recordings of Schumann.
Whoa. Beethoven.
And I have his on LP. I have that Beethoven Fourth, and I have the Chopin Etudes. That's played by Pauline.
Yeah. Whoa. Jeez, that kind of fell out. Sorry. I have a Liszt album of his. Yeah, he plays the Liszt Sonata.
You know, one of the things I admire about him is in the documentary.
Yeah.
He played a lot of 20th century music.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
I wouldn't say avant-garde, but definitely
No.
some high-level contemporary music. Really devoted himself to stuff. He played, I thought it was one of his early young performances, for example, the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
First concerto of Ernst Krenek.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Stuff like that. And a real passion for that. And that's another thing that I've come to appreciate about
Fellini?
the Italians of the 20th century. Because Alessandro, despite his love and mastery over the bel canto period of opera writing, so saying anything from Rossini through Bellini and Verdi and such, and of course his favorite composer is Puccini. There was always such a critical and mental appreciation for challenging new ideas. I think about the composer Luciano Berio, for example, or then there was Luigi Dalla Piccola, for example.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then the amazing thing is that there were artists who were ready to play that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I know that's not true about other Europeans. I mean, the Germans, devoted themselves to things. The Swiss, especially, in some ways, and eventually the Polish people. But the Italians, and Paulini's one of them, because they mention him in the documentary. You look it up. Look it up on YouTube. I'll put a lead to it on our program page, so you can go to it. It's pretty cool. Oh, and the other thing too is that when he was young, I think after, I think it was after he won the Chopin competition. He had things that he had to do, but then he took a period of time and did a play because he thought he wasn't actually ready to face the kind of weightiness of a career. Yeah. Just because he just dazzled everybody with his ability. Yeah. It wasn't that he didn't know repertoire stuff, but he just, something like he took a year and a half off. Yeah. And guess who he went and took lessons with?
Benedetti-Michelangeli. I would have figured it would have been, I should have guessed.
Studied with Michelangeli.
The two are so...
Michelangeli just showed him depth and things about music that he hadn't really considered. I didn't even know that when the boy was training himself. I mean, he had just an amazing technical gift, right? Yeah. Virtuosity, unbelievable. And a certain ease with which he did it, Yeah. It doesn't sound hard.
No, it doesn't.
It's ordinary.
You see, I should have guessed that because they have the same
Michelangeli had a way of playing too, but I think of him as a poet. And a very temperamental one. Yeah. Not weird. I mean, his playing is very sturdy and stuff, but he talks in the documentary about going. Michelangelo was older. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He had great respect for him. Yeah. I'm going to put this address for the YouTube documentary up because it really affected me so that I thought, as I said, I've been listening to some various things that I've purchased recently, and I haven't gotten to this yet, but there is some playing in the documentary. And it's actually some of the stuff that they put up really impressed me because contrary to what I thought I had the feeling that maybe he was a bit chilly, a little icy. Yeah. The way he played. I know some people said that, but the examples that they showed of him playing with the orchestra and stuff, gripping,
Yeah,
really
it was.
impressive. And the really cool thing is, no fear, it seems.
Oh no,
Just launches into
yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
and just
he's the type that's just completely cool.
goes at it.
Very
Well,
cool.
there's some kind of cool balance with that.
Yeah.
I mean, probably maybe a confidence at a technical level. But one of the most impressive was recorded, but it was live.
Yeah.
Performances I saw, it just blows me away. And one of the most impressive things I ever saw was Christian Zimmermann,
Hmm.
Leonard Bernstein,
Yeah.
the Vienna Philharmonic,
The Brahms Concerto.
played the Brahms 1 and the Brahms 2. That was the program for the night.
Yes. For
He
one
comes out, plays the Brahms first in the first part. Faultless. Beautiful tone. And I like that. I've always liked that about Zimmerman. Really grand tone in a beautiful way. And yet big sound, you know, he can do it all, you know. But honestly, extraordinarily not cautious, very, you know, robust and very right there in your face and playing it. But there's a certain kind of technical way that he plays that looks very in control.
Mhm.
There's no mistakes that I can hear. Then, I mean, they take a break, and he comes out after intermission, after the first, and an incredible performance of it. Then he plays the second, which is a 45-minute
Work. Yeah.
bravura thing, you know.
4 movements.
Incredible demands, my God, and equally beautiful and beyond impressive, extraordinary, and as far as I can tell, faultless. And they committed those live recordings to permanently,
Yeah.
or the live performances to permanent record of them.
Oh yeah. I have it on VHS.
You do?
I do.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I was really, it's exciting, you know, I suppose. I mean, at my age and my experience, my lifestyle, where I am with things, to just discover new stuff or new experiences.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, absolutely.
I think I've been unfair in my opinions for whatever reason when I was younger. Maybe it was too dismissive too quickly. I don't know why. But I was attracted to certain things at a certain time, and it's just nice. Thank God for that video and that person that made this. And I was just impressed with the man, really, and the artist, and his approach to things, and then the performances they show. I said, "Holy Christ! You know, this guy is an Italian furioso. You know, just
Oh yeah.
but under control, and that I admire. You know, so."
Anyways, yeah. He's also mentioned in The Great Pianists. Harold C. Schoenberg actually has him and Alfred Brendel sharing one chapter in the book.
And I bought even a second book, and I ended up giving it to a student of mine.
Yeah?
Because it turned out not to be the newer version.
Yeah.
I have the original,
Yeah, the original.
and that's not in that.
No, it's not in that. So,
Excuse me, my tea went down.
yeah, this came later. I mean, that chapter, yeah.
Yeah, both of them. I mean,
Alfred Brendel and the same chapter.
I thought it was interesting. I saw recently that Daniel Barenboim,
Yep.
as a conductor, stepped in, and you know his health hasn't been great, up and down, but he stepped in for an ailing Zubin Mehta
Wow.
somewhere in Europe, Austria, I think, at some festival, which will be Barenboim's first time there. But the pianist was Rudolf Buchbinder. You know him?
Yeah.
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 And he was
Medal winner over at the
going to
Van
play Brahms.
Not the, but
I think the first Brahms, I think.
Yeah.
And Mehta became ill, and he contacted Barenboim and says, any chance you'd be willing to come and step in for Zubin and do it.
Oh.
And he said he also knew what he was asking, because it was interesting. They said that Barenboim is one of the last representatives of a great tradition of Central European Germanic music making. Well, he's from Argentina, but he learned in Germany. And no, yeah, I mean, one of my early LP and one of my first experiences with Anton Bruckner.
Yeah.
Fourth Symphony of Anton Bruckner with Chicago Symphony with Barenboim.
Conducting.
Was a young guy.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and anyway, they were saying that they think of him as a great Germanic master in a way.
Yeah.
With the, and they said romantic tradition as well, that kind of German romanticism. Yeah. And they said, well, Buchbinder is actually more representative of somewhat more modern, you know, just not what might say less emotional, cleaner kind of way. But they were looking. The person who wrote the review, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, was looking forward to the performance to see what happens, because Buchbinder said, I know Barenboim's style and the way he does, and I'm going to do my best to do what he wants to do, because I want to have that experience. I want to do it.
Wow.
But they were very curious to see how it worked, because it's not that Mehta isn't a great romantic conductor as well. And I have a lot of things from him. I even have like Close Encounters John Williams.
Right Zubin
where he's playing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Zubin Mehta at one time was a force to reckon with. He was a director of New York Philharmonic.
Oh yeah, he was.
And I think he's still, even at this present time and age and health stuff. Yeah. I think he's still the director of the Israeli Philharmonic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to be fond of his conducting too. I especially like his endings. He uses that uppercut for the ending to cut off the orchestra. He goes out. Yeah, that's how he cuts off his orchestra.
Very masculine and very powerful playing. Very, very dramatic, you know. Seen him in different things. Yeah. God love him, he's still going.
Yeah, that's great.
So, but anyway, I got a couple books that I bought. I found these at Thrift Books, I believe. I got these at Thrift Books. You know Thrift Books?
Thrift Books?
No, thriftbooks.com. It's really great. That's where I get a lot of good stuff.
Wow.
It's amazing. Their search engine is incredible. And they have various quality copies, and either hardback or paperback, and then you can get anything from acceptable to new if they got it. Yeah. But it's this amazing used book kind of place, like half price books kind of thing. Yeah. But this is called Thrift Books. And I really love it. This is where I got a bunch of things here. Elmer.
Wow.
From. Anyway, because I didn't pay that much for either one of these. This is a biography of Byron Janis. Autobiography.
No.
And it's called Chopin and Beyond. And I looked through it. I haven't read it much yet, but you know, Byron Janis was a child prodigy from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He and Lauren Mazel did a concert together.
Yes.
Where Mazel was older or younger than him by 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Get that.
There was a
but and I forget what the concerto was, but Byron played it, and Lauren Mazel conducted, and they were both boy geniuses.
Yeah, they were kids.
Horowitz saw the performance. Horowitz happened to be there, and he went because he heard these kids were going to do it. And Pittsburgh Symphony is a great orchestra. Manfred Honeck is now the director. But my very first collection of Beethoven symphonies was with William Steinberg. And the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, Steinberg, yeah.
And I mean, even Fritz Reiner was the music director there at one time. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, what I liked about Janis, he did go, and I think he was not maybe the first, or probably the most famous and significant of Horowitz's students.
Oh yeah.
Because the thing I found when I have some of his old LP recordings, and then I got some CDs. His sound and the choice of the instrument that Steinway plays reminds me of the sonority that Horowitz could draw out of the piano.
Oh yeah, he's pretty close.
That he has that, and he loved Chopin, and was quite well known. Anyway, I looked through the book and stuff. He had a very interesting life. He knew some really high up there kind of people, both in the East Coast and in Europe. But there's also an interesting chapter which I was curious to get to. I didn't read it all, but I was looking through it on UFOs.
Really?
That's why it's called Chopin and Beyond.
Oh. And the paranormal, my extraordinary life in music and the paranormal. Oh my goodness!
I'm really curious about.
Oh, now you have my
the other
curiosity.
thing about the poor guy. Later on in his career, he got stricken with some serious arthritis.
Yeah.
Really bad. And I didn't know this necessarily, but he became the national head of some great big arthritis foundation.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Yeah, he directed it. It was a big deal for him.
Yeah.
He still tried to play. He was sad. Some guys that, like Leon Fleischer, that had that focal dystonia, and he managed for a short period of time, like a year or a little bit more than a year, to come back, and he got his right hand back and was doing some performances, but then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you listen to old recordings of Fleischer, he was one of the great mid-century American pianists. I mean, big time.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that somebody like George Sell selected him often to come and play Beethoven or Brahms with the orchestra because he loved the way Fleischer played.
Yeah.
He was a Los Angeles boy. He came out of LA.
Yeah.
But
he premiered a discovered piano concerto by Hindemith.
Fleischer
did. Yeah, it was for left hand.
Well, an interesting thing in here, Byron Janis, at least twice, discovered lost manuscripts of Chopin.
Yeah.
And introduced them.
Yeah. Nocturne, and I can't remember what the other one was. It was a short nocturne in C minor. I can't remember what they finally designated an opus number to it, or no, I don't remember that one. And it was a mazurka, I believe. So, he tried his hand at composing.
Janis?
Yeah, Janis did. There's an article I read a long time ago. He was I don't know if I can remember. He was trying to write an operatic adaptation of, I believe it was Phantom of the Opera.
Really?
I think it was. Yeah. He said he didn't really care for the atonal or the difficult modern techniques of composition.
Yeah.
So he wanted to keep it tonal and accessible. And so that's the way he wrote.
Wow.
But he says he was having trouble with some of those voice things. And so, but yeah, he talked about it.
I'm curious to read it. It's not a big book.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's very good size.
It looks, from what I could read, rather accessible and chatty enough.
It's not a thick book. See?
I think is he still alive? Isn't he?
I don't know.
They were in his
You got
in
your phone.
New York.
Yeah.
But okay, so the other book that I have, and I've been looking at this one for a while in different places, by an author named Paul Kildea, but it's called Chopin's Piano: In Search of the Instrument That Transformed Music. This was the pianino piano that Chopin owned when he was on what's it called? The Spanish island.
Oh, Mallorca.
When he was on Mallorca.
He was on sabbatical or something.
They rented an old abandoned monastery and lived there with George Sand and her kids and stuff, and he was there. And there was a homemade piano, and it was called a pianino, that Chopin used when he was there that summer. And he wrote the preludes on that instrument. So this is a story about the instrument, which is quite interesting. I suppose there's more to it than that, about Chopin, his life, and so forth. But then it becomes about the instrument, because it eventually was rescued by
her,
Wanda Landowska.
It was rescued by her?
She had it. She owned it. And then it was confiscated by the Nazis when they conquered Paris. And, she had to leave her home and everything. She was Jewish, Landowska.
Yeah.
She ended up going to Connecticut. People, great fans of hers, brought her over. There's wonderful stories about when she came over to America during the Second World War, and she lost everything. They got her another big Pleyel harpsichord and set her up in a house. I forgot the name of the town. I'll put it up in Connecticut where she lived. That was her home for the rest of her life. And she's on the older side when she came over here in the 40s.
Yeah.
But the one story I remember telling in the first year that we did the PSI was when I had shared that recording of the Goldberg variations that Claudio Rao had done.
Yeah.
And he recorded it like around 1940 or 41, something like that.
Yeah.
He was a big Bach player. As it turns out, a lot of European pianists were back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
J.S. Bach. And it ended up, what happened was he'd done the recording, and then Wondowska came to the United States. You know, she was Mrs. Bach, playing the harpsichord. And the people wanted to get her doing some recordings to make some money for herself so she could sell it in the American market. So the first thing she did as a project was the Goldberg variations on her monster harpsichord. And they approached Claudio Rao. This is what an amazing human being he was. And they said, look, Madame Landowska's just come. She has no money. She's trying to make some money. And she wants to record the Goldbergs. And this is the same company, probably RCA.
Yeah, it was.
And she did it. And she said, would you mind if we waited to release yours, you know, somewhat later so that hers could be first and get the attention so people buy our records? And Rao said, of course. You know, don't even give it a second thought. But then what happened was that the original master tapes ended up disappearing into the basement somewhere for 50 years or more. And it wasn't until the 90s or something, and Rao was dead by then, right? So somebody found them, and they were in great shape, and they released, for the very first time, Claudio Rao's performance of the vocal vibrations. I remember when I saw it, I said, oh my God, I gotta have this. And of course, it's very much a Rao. Again, I know Ellsworth loved his playing.
Oh yeah.
And what I find common with a Rao and Kempf is this beautiful, unbelievable singing tone and legato quality of playing the instrument. I mean, we always say, you know, the piano is a percussive instrument and playing legato is sleight of hand. Yeah. You make it seem like it's singing. These guys make it very believable. Claudio Rao and Wilhelm Kempf. So anyway,
so you have
Landowska got a hold of this piano, and then I haven't read the book. I read the synopsis of it, but it's basically just looking at the history of this extraordinary piano, which now I think is in a museum
in China.
Is it in China?
Yeah, well, let's see. I'm just making a guess.
Or I think it traveled to China. I'm not sure.
It may have traveled to China, made its tour over there. But I remember you sent me an article about how Chopin's heart was making a tour around the world.
Yeah, no.
So I was thinking this.
No.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I do. Now his heart's in a church in Poland.
Yeah.
So it looks like a great story. I love things like that. It's almost like a bit of a detective story.
Oh,
an historical thing about looking at this piano, which is the one, I don't know if it really makes it that important or what it was, but this guy was a furniture maker, like a lot of early piano makers were. But this is in Chopin's time in Spain. And a pianino is like a small, what do they call it, spinet? We call it a spinet piano, kind of thing like that. And it was completely hand-built by this guy, and Chopin, that's what he used when he was living in Mallorca. But at the time, he was working on the 24 Preludes. Yeah. So, anyway. So that's my little contributions.
Beautiful. And before we end, I wanted to do this at the beginning of the show, so you'll have to hear it now. If you are born today, Thursday, September 4th, you share the same birthday as Anton Bruckner.
Whoa!
Talking about him, 1824.
Yeah, so it was 200 last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anton Bruckner, Austrian composer and organist.
Wow.
You also share the same birthday as Darius Milhaud.
I love Darius Milhaud.
1892, French composer. Have you ever played any Darius Milhaud?
I did, actually, you know, because he wrote... He was very influenced by jazz and jazz
Yeah,
ideas.
he was. Yeah.
And the instruments that would have been used. Like, of course, Ravel was the first one to use the saxophone, right? In his orchestra. But
could be
anyway,
Mussorgsky because he uses it in the castle.
really used the
Yeah,
saxophone?
that's a saxophone. Pictures? Yeah.
Wow. I hadn't thought about that, but I'm pretty sure that Ravel used it too.
Oh, yeah,
But they were attracted to that kind of stuff, but it came out of the jazz usage.
Rachmaninoff uses it
I
too.
played some brass music, and I think there was a wind ensemble thing I did. I don't remember. This is back in Madison days. With Darius Mio. It's quirky kind of stuff. I love Poulenc, and I played his stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's like a French style at that time of kind of parody and a sense of being able to laugh at yourself and kind of joke in a certain kind of way that's very French.
Yeah.
And I think Mio is one of the best one that captures that.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
Yeah. The only experience I've had with Milo was playing the orchestra or piano reduction of the orchestra part to a flute concerto.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, I sweated bullets at that performance.
That reminds me of a more contemporary French composer where I did that too.
Yeah.
A flute concerto of Henri Dutilleux.
Oh,
You know Dutilleux?
Yeah.
But I loved the music and I loved playing it. I told you that was the time when what was her
What's
name?
her face?
Zuckerman.
Yeah, Zuckerman's wife.
Zuckerman's wife, but they were split by that time.
Yeah.
I can't think of her first name. The flutist Zuckerman.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on you. I played the Dutilleux.
Yeah.
Now the concerto I played both. I think it was the Dutilleux Sonatine or Sonata, whichever it was, but it's with the flute. And then there's the flute and the piano.
Yeah.
And this Chinese girl played. She was pretty good, but she's a little mechanical.
Uh-huh.
But she's good. But I can't think of her first name, but Mrs. Zuckerman came up. And she walked past her and she came over to the piano. And she was kind of a tall lady.
Yeah.
And she leaned over behind me and she whispered to me, she said, "Beautiful." And then she kissed me on top of my head. And then she addressed Amy, her name was Amy, and the audience, and she said, "Do you know how amazing this was, what just happened here?" Said, "This is one of the most fabulous performances I've ever heard of this. This guy is a treasure." And I'm just sitting here.
You're just smiling.
Was it Natalie? No, Natalie. But anyway, I just got kissed by what's-her-face Zuckerman. But she was a hottie.
Oh!
Big time hottie back in the day.
Oh. Nice going. Well, folks, I believe this is going to be about it for the day. If you enjoy our company, our talks, and our topics, please feel free to comment below. Comment, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up.
This was fun.
Oh, this was great. This was awesome.
This is good.
It was very good. We brought some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what? Come back. I may have more news about this work.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit of a mystery here.
Find some interesting information.
Yeah, bit of a mystery here.
In Columbus, Ohio.
In Columbus, Ohio. Yeah. Who would have thunk it? Well, folks, please come back again to see what we're playing, what we're reading, what we're listening to. I'm sure we're going to have plenty more insights. Say goodbye to my dear friend here. This is
Mark.
I am Elmer. We are Mark.
Mark and
Elmer's
PSI. Piano Scene Investigations. Say bye.
Bye, dear. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, Grandma. We missed you.
Oh, wonderful guys.
See you, everybody.
Well behaved.
Yeah.